Okay, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, wherever you are today. Thank you for joining us. My name is Marissa Waterman, and I'm the Marketing Director here at the American Academy of Environmental Engineers and Scientists. We're so excited today to be doing this webinar with Wendy Wirt, a civil engineer with LA County Sanitation Districts. Before we get started, I just wanted to mention that you'll be able to message your questions at the end of the presentation. Once the interview is over, you'll be able to type your question into the attendee chat panel that's on the left-hand side of your screen. We will also share Wendy's email address and my email address as well. If you have any additional questions, you can email us directly. Okay, let's get right to it. A little bit about Wendy. Wendy Wirt has been a member of AAEES for 23 years. She's been a huge support to the Academy over the years by serving on several committees and organizing numerous events. Since Wendy's so passionate about the Academy and how it can help young professionals through their career journey, she takes advantage of any opportunity to promote the Academy and encourages qualified candidates to apply for board certification. She always brings her enthusiasm and is up for any task. We're so happy to have her here today to chat with us. Wendy's going to discuss her background, her education, early career, tackling the challenges that are happening right now, and also how the Academy has helped her along the way. We'll also discuss the Academy's membership categories and how you can get involved no matter what stage of the career you're in. Good morning, Wendy. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Marissa, for those kind words. As Marissa mentioned, today's webinar is going to discuss how associations such as the American Academy of Environmental Engineers and Scientists can help you, environmental professionals, meet the challenges of our complex field. And this helps us here at the Sanitation Districts because everything that we do here is centered on our mission. So during this situation, our sites continue to protect public health and the environment, and we're all working together to stay safe. So.
Great. Can you start off by telling everyone something about LA County Sanitation Districts?
Of course. So the sanitation districts, currently we serve 5.6 million people, and through professional associations such as the Academy, we are able to continue our operations. And during this pandemic, we've actually been continuing to operate solid waste as well.
Great. Okay, and we're having a little bit of delay with the slides, so bear with us. Do you want to start off by telling a little bit of your background, Wendy?
Oh, sure. And what I really wanted to start off, hopefully you guys can see this slide. I apologize. It seems like our bandwidth is giving us some challenges here. So thank you all for bearing with us. I wanted to start out by saying that me personally, I can't be more appreciative and thankful to all of you and your ability to keep doing your jobs under the difficult circumstances we've faced. Whether you're students and scientists contributing to research that can potentially help us manage the pandemic, serving as boots on the ground operators and adapting to constant change, or highly skilled technicians and support staff, we're all innovating to keep working. And every one of you is on the front lines providing essential services. So thank you for that. And thank you for bearing with us in this new normal where we do have some delays. So for the reasons that we spoke about a few minutes ago, our leaders here at the Sanitation Districts encourage staff to contribute to the field through professional associations such as the Academy. And hopefully, if our slides are advancing, you can see our current Assistant Chief Engineer and General Manager, Chuck Bemke, and what he's doing is he's sharing knowledge at the annual technical conference that the Academy puts forward. So now, hopefully, we're up to my background, and I apologize for that. It seemed like our slides bounced around a little bit, but Marissa did ask about my background, but I did want to talk about the Academy a few minutes first, so thank you for that. So go ahead, Marissa.
Yeah, just maybe we can, you could talk about a little bit about your background to get started.
Sure. So I was born on a farm in central Pennsylvania. My father, who's shown here, is a Navy veteran and he's in our cornfield. And my mother, who's shown at an academy event, is a retired educator. So when I entered college at the University of Central Florida, I immediately wanted to get a degree in biology. I had every intention of that. But my brother was studying engineering at the time and encouraged me to consider the field because I had taken a lot of math and science courses. So I took his advice and I've never been sorry. I majored in environmental engineering and my family continues to influence my journey.
Okay. What inspired you to join the academy?
Okay, so like all of you out there, we learned from our peers and from our mentors. And as an undergraduate student, I was so fortunate. I was given the opportunity to complete a senior design project with UCF's Dean of Engineering, Deborah Reinhardt. And Debbie encouraged professional associations for our senior design project. So I joined the academy as a student member in 1997, and I immediately realized that we need our peers. We need this network of peers to effectively meet the challenges of our complex field.
Wow, that was a long time ago. What brought you all the way out west to California?
Yeah, so I talked a little bit about the network that the Academy provides to professionals. And as I finished my master's degree at UCF, I was contacted by a consulting engineering firm out of Pasadena, and that would be Montgomery Watson at the time. And they're now Stantec. And certification in the academy was important to my first big client, who you can see here. So this is Tim Haug. He's with the City of Los Angeles. He's a deputy engineer. And through their RFP process, or request for proposals, they asked for board certification and affiliation with the academy. So that gave me a great jump start. Here I am doing food waste digestion research at this advanced biosolids facility out of the city of Hyperion, city of Los Angeles, the Hyperion wastewater treatment plant. And here you see how hands-on our research was. You see Dr. Haug checking for odors by sort of sampling the biosolids there.
Wow, that is hands-on. And what gave you that push to serve the public? Was it anything specific?
So that's an interesting question, Marissa, and I don't always share this, but I'm happy to do so with this audience. We're always influenced by the things that happen to us. And in 2004, as I was working as a consulting engineer, I had a tremendous amount of travel associated with that. And I ended up having a hiking accident where I now, if you could see me closely, which you probably can't, that's the one good thing about the delay, but I have scars everywhere because I have 8 titanium plates in my body. I have a special card for travel, but it's kind of irrelevant now that we're all sort of telecommuting. But at that point, I thought something that would require less travel would be preferable for my circumstances.
Wow, Wendy. And how did you know you wanted to work with sanitation districts?
So I mentioned public service. So public agencies deliver the fundamental needs of our communities, and I value the service that the sanitation districts provides. Our facilities are currently part of the fight against the coronavirus, and I'm proud to work in public service at the sanitation districts. My first department head, I'll point him out here, Mike Selma, when I joined the engineering design group in 2005 here at the districts. And my parents, who you've seen on the few previous slides, were surprised that after all that education, all that rigor, and moving all the way to the West Coast, one of my first assignments was design of the Tulare Lake composting facility, which had me thinking about farming operations again.
Great. Okay, I'm glad you mentioned coronavirus because it's scary times right now. I'm sure everyone's wondering, how has the pandemic impacted your work?
So thank you, Marissa. Here at the Sanitation Districts, we began early in February to monitor the situation. We produced guidance documents from the CDC based on information there, and we started participating in situation meetings. We revised our traveler and our visitor policies, and we felt like we were pretty on top of it. And then, as most of you know, on March 19th, our governor issued a stay in our place of residence to stop the spread of the coronavirus. And that was a mandate. So for the first time in district's history, all of us, all 1,637 district's employees, received a text message, a personal message from our chief informing us of that situation. So we really made history with that. But because the sanitation districts provides essential services, all staff scheduled to work did so, and we received that direction directly from our chief.
And what are the districts doing now to take precautions?
Right, so I think we're doing a lot of what everyone is doing under this situation. As I mentioned, the county and the state ordered issues to close non-essential businesses. We were exempt from that order because we're essential. We postponed our outreach events, we paused our internship program, but everyone who was scheduled, our boots on the grounds folks, came in. And we encouraged people to start to telecommute and work from home or from a mobile site as quickly as possible. And at this juncture, Marissa, I can't say enough good things about our IT department. We had started in January to have this MS Teams as a collaboration tool, and staff moved that along. So we really did activate. I talked about our boots on the ground operators as being activated, and our IT staff also has really activated our ability to work mobilely to help protect public health and the environment. And I just wanted to mention that I can't say enough things about compliance. Staff is complying with all of these protective measures. I know you see my face, but I do have my face mask right here adjacent to me. We're physical distancing. We're physically washing and frequently washing our hands. And we even complete an environmental health survey before we enter any of our work sites. So it's crucial during this time to protect our operations.
Oh, okay. And tell us a little bit about those who are actually out in the field. How are they staying safe, and what's changed for them?
So Marissa, you bring up a good point. This is obviously an outdated slide because you'll notice that our operations staff are not at a distance and they don't have a face covering, but that's not the case right now. But these adaptive measures, they've been protective of our people, but we've still been affected. Our first case occurred on March 27th, and since then, we've had 36 employees test positive at 13 different work sites. So it's challenging. We must provide these critical functions handled by essential staff, and we need to plan for a continuity of operations. So we've gone through a number of measures. We had staff who was essentially sequestered by working, by staying off and then rotating in. But right now, we're pleased to announce that staff has a lot, because of the space that we're providing and the distancing, staff is able to come back in and perform the functions that they need to. So we're continuing our operations during this time.
Absolutely. Now, how has education and outreach been impacted?
So I mentioned earlier that we had postponed our outreach events. I'm pleased to report that our outreach and education programs are up and running. We're converting our hands-on, which you're seeing here, science education program into a virtual online version. So we're inviting the public to our facilities, and there are some, if you will, silver linings to the situation, because normally for our public tours, we're limited based on the capacity of our buildings, But now with these online webinar forums like the one that we're participating in right now, we can open up our facilities to 3,000 people at a time. And it's pretty exciting because they actually get a behind the scenes view since we're using drone footage, and we're able to, if you will, follow the flow and take people to portions of our organization that the public doesn't normally have access to. We're broadcasting, we have a marshland, and what we're doing is we're inviting scientists, engineers, biologists, and other professionals to come out on Saturday mornings and through this virtual forum broadcast and talk about the wildlife that we're seeing out there. So as many of our docents are retirees and they can be in high-risk categories, we need them to fulfill our mission. So wherever possible, we've gone virtual in order to protect our volunteers.
Great. And tell us about wastewater specifically. How is that involved in the pandemic?
Right. So our wastewater facilities, our treatment plants continue to provide service to 5.6 million people in the county of Los Angeles. And this has to happen 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So what you're seeing there are our water reclamation plants, and 6 of the water reclamation plants have had an employee test positive. So we're very pleased to report that many of our staff have been able to stay safe and to continue to provide these essential services.
Mm-hmm. And what about solid waste? How is that affected?
So initially, when the pandemic went into effect and we had the stay-at-home order, of course we had to suspend things such as our household hazardous waste collection events. I'm pleased to report, and we're in collaboration with Public Works in the County of Los Angeles to put on these events. And of course, they help to divert these materials from our municipal solid waste landfills. So I'm pleased to report that these events are up and running again with those protective safety measures in place. So our facilities are operating at a high level, and they're in full compliance, and that's largely due to our frontline staff.
Great. Thank you, Wendy. What, in your opinion, what's the most compelling thing you can tell us about all of this in your field?
So as I mentioned earlier, we protect public health and the environment. So this is very centerline to our profession. So most of us, when we were at university, and those who still are there, I know I have a number of students in the audience, we studied epidemiology. And we think of Dr. Snow as the father of epidemiology. So back in 1849, a practicing physician wrote a pamphlet on the occurrence of cholera. And here you can see his work, and it's in the National Archives in London. And what Dr. Snow did is he took a map of London, he put the wells on there, and then he drew red dots. So it's very compelling information about the cases of cholera that he saw. And in that way, he was able to correlate the potential for pulling sewage contaminated water from the Thames with specific wells. And like all good engineers and scientists, he had the power of his convictions. And so he went out and he locked down some of those wells and saved lives. And that was before we had all of this technology and microbiology in order to see that. So as we enter this new era, according to WEF, academic research has reported that the virus can be detected in wastewater, although its survival, infectivity, and concentrations are currently under investigation. So we're working to understand the virus so we can continue to protect public health and the environment. Since February, I am pleased to report that our microbiology laboratory group has been monitoring and ramping up to investigate the SARS-CoV-2 virus. our lab has come up with an innovative method for analyzing the virus in wastewater and also in our effluent. They have all the necessary resources and started conducting the work in mid-April of 2020. So I spoke a bit about how our operations staff really rose to the occasion, and we've seen the same thing on the research side. So their first, oh, I'll go ahead, Marissa.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is really interesting. What can we do to help as a field? What can we do to help right now?
Yeah, so that's what we were talking about. So their first point of work was to show how our water reclamation plants do a great job of removing the virus, and they did that. None of the virus was detected in the effluent from our water reclamation plants. The second part is ongoing, and it's sewer surveillance. And this slide shows some of the work that they've been doing in testing the effluent from our largest water reclamation plants, which includes the San Jose Creek Water Reclamation Plant and also the Joint Water Pollution Control Plant in the city of Carson. So what we're doing is they're sampling for genetic material that shows the presence of the virus. Research conducted so far shows that when the virus is shed from the human body, it's not infectious, and there's no indication that the virus is infectious in the collection system. But you can still pick up the genetic material in our wastewater. So in this way, you can basically test a number of people to see what the infection level is. There's not a lot of data yet, so I'm a little bit preliminary as I put it out there for peer review in showing this information. But what we can basically do is pick up that genetic material and say, are things getting worse or are things getting better? And as we collect more data, we'll be able to better determine where things are going in the county, keeping in mind that between these two treatment plants, we're effectively testing, if you will, 3.6 million people. So we're collaborating with Los Angeles County Public Health to see if our data can be used to benefit them and their knowledge in the fight against the coronavirus. Our lab staff has been innovating and leading, and this is a great representation of the type of work that the districts does. So all of us here take great pride in the work that our colleagues in the lab are doing.
Wow, that does sound promising. So what does the future hold for LA County Sanitation? What's next?
Sure. So we continue to be vigilant about staying safe, of course, because our most valuable resource is our people. Our goal is to make sure that our employees are in the most safe conditions possible in order to do their jobs and provide those essential services. Our staff has been doing so much, and I think all of you, adapting to these new conditions while knowing that we provide essential services to over 5 million people. And I'd like to thank all of you in the profession for your dedication. And I know we're going to get through this together. And I just wanted to point out while we are on this slide that we report out to our board of directors with our annual reports, and our commitment to advanced certification is shown here. As you can see, those with certifications through the Academy or other professional associations are reported out to our directors. So that's that 198 that you're seeing there.
Great. Thank you so much, Wendy. Thank you for sharing everything. Now let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the Academy. Can you tell us how the Academy has helped you with your career over the years?
So hopefully, as you've seen during today's talk, at every transition, my education, my health, my career, even geography, I've been supported, I've been challenged, and I've been encouraged by my affiliation with the Academy.
Excellent. Now we can just go over the membership.
Right. So hopefully, yeah.
Or further along. Go ahead.
Oh, that's fine, Marissa. So hopefully you're inspired, and wherever you are in your stage of professional development, if you're a student, if you're early in your career, the Academy has a place for you to grow and develop. and reach all of your potential, and also to collaborate with your peers. That's one of the pieces that is so essential for the Academy.
Mm-hmm. And if someone's thinking about becoming board certified and is eligible, meaning they have at least 8 years in the field, what are the certification options for them?
So board certification, I mentioned, we talked a little bit about Dr. Stowe, and he was a practicing physician, and it comes back to that. It comes back to, if you will, exposing your data, which I may have reported some of that data a little bit too preliminary, so that's what your peers will do for you, or your body of work. What we want to do is we want to have repeatable results. We want to grow. When you first start out, you may be able to do something exceptional independently, but as you grow in your career, you're going to need these experts with advanced knowledge in different areas. And so what certification does is it gives you that peer interaction. And we have it available for environmental engineers, for environmental practitioners such as academics, and also for scientists. And it's important to our organizations because it shows even to our directors and to our regulators that our staff is seeking that additional level of expertise by opening up our work to peer review.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then once someone's certified, how is that recognized?
So you get more initials, right?
The best part.
Right? No, but no, it's recognized by a network of professionals and academics and researchers. What it does is it gives the individual that opportunity to reach their potential and also to contribute to the field.
Mm-hmm. We do know that being board certified is extremely valuable. Can you go over some of the benefits?
Sure. So I think we've touched on this throughout our discussion today, Marissa, but it's been fantastic. What we did is I could stand up here and I could tell you what it is that's important to you, but Marissa did it and the Academy did it in an even better way by going out to our members. And that's what you're seeing here. What certification and going through testing process and the review process by an interview with peers and experts in your field of practice, almost a little bit like your dissertation, right? But after you've had an opportunity to practice for a while. But what it does is this slide shows what the members and what the professionals who have achieved this found valuable about certification. So before we open it up,
thank you so much, Wendy.
Oh, thank you, Marissa. I just wanted to say a few things before we open it up for questions. I wanted to conclude by saying that I have a great deal of faith in the personal investment that every one of us has made in the environmental profession and throughout our careers. And because of that level of commitment, we're resilient. And despite the challenges we faced recently, I remain optimistic about the future. The world has changed since I began working, and accordingly, the Academy has changed and will continue to adapt. I believe it's essential to never lose sight of our mission and the people that we serve. Now, we will answer your questions. Thank you, Marissa.
Thank you, Wendy. Now, if anyone wants to type in a question, you can type it in on the left-hand side of your screen where it says Attendee Chat, and then Wendy will go through those questions and answer as many as she can. As you see on the screen, you can also email her directly to ask any questions, or you can email myself, Marissa, for any membership questions. Okay, let's see here. We have 2 questions waiting, I think.
Okay, so we have a question, it looks like from Rabia. Wanted to ask that we as Academy members can do for science and communication within the academy. So to answer your question, yes, there are many opportunities, and hopefully you'll reach out directly to me and we will put you in collaboration with other scientists who are interested in communicating these principles. So to answer your question, there are a number of opportunities where you can contribute your skills. And then it looks like Lilia has a question. You may ask the question, Marissa.
Oh, go ahead. So Lilia asked, she said a graph you presented earlier showed presence of COVID-19 genetic influence to WWTP. Okay, so are you able to infer anything from the presence of RNA in the sewer shed and infectivity rate of residents in the sewer shed?
Oh, that is a wonderful question, Lilia. That's exactly what the research is attempting to get us back to. So I don't know if my slides don't move really quickly, but I'm happy to. Oh, never mind. So I know I'm seeing the delay on the screen. Let me see. Maybe I can come back to that. The graph.
Also, we'll have this presentation online for people to see later.
Right. So what we're seeing, what we're trying to do with the research that's being collected is our staff is analyzing the genetic material, and then from that, we're hypothesizing or establishing a correlation between that and the number of individuals who may have that. And the whole idea, Lilia hit it exactly. The whole idea is so that as a profession, we can contribute to the field and help to, if you will, use the sewer shed to see what may happen in the future. And hopefully in that way we can ramp up. So a lot of us went through a situation where we were lacking supplies. I didn't even mention that when we talked about operations, but what we were able to do then was to collaborate with sister agencies and to go through those protocols. So if we can see something happening in a population, maybe we can put those services in place, and for health concerns and for hospitals as well, they can kind of see what's happening in a forecast method so that we're better prepared. That's the whole goal of that.
Great. Thank you, Wendy. I don't see any more questions. If anyone wants to ask a question, just type it in that panel on the left-hand side. Otherwise, there is our email addresses are in the PowerPoint presentation, and you can email us anytime with questions. Let's just wait 1 or 2 more minutes to see if any questions pop up. Okay. Okay, Wendy, do you want to take the one from John?
Sure. Oh my word. Okay, great. Okay, so I saw, there have been a number of people calling for more public health planning to prevent future pandemics and other public health crises. What new career opportunities do you see for environmental engineers? So that's a fantastic question, John. There are so many opportunities. I think many of us who are practicing this situation has brought us back into the focus of why it was that we entered the profession. And it is unfortunate times and it is sobering times, but it is also a great opportunity for us to use this skill set to help protect public health and the environment. So to answer your question, there are a number of opportunities that are available for emerging professionals and also for practicing health professionals to participate both in ongoing research. There's nationwide collaboration, and there's there's a tremendous amount of need for statistical analysis. There's a need for operations staff. There's so many opportunities in the environmental field. So yes, the one, if you will, opportunity that comes out of this, or the value that comes out of this situation, is that we're able to apply the knowledge that all of you have gained over time. So NC asks, oh, very nice. NC asks, are we seeing any destruction through, oh wow, thank you NC for asking that. The first, I think I talked about it, I'm so interested, and I think here at the districts we're following it on a daily basis. We're sort of on the coattails of our researchers. We're holding on to their lab coats, and we're sort of looking over their shoulders because we're so interested in this information. But what NC asked is, the very first part of the research was to sample for effluent from our water reclamation plants. And the exciting part for our field is that the practices, the things that we've been doing all along, wastewater treatment does destroy or remove the virus. So that was the first thing that they established in this research effort, and that has been done. So there's a question from John Kuhn. Would it be a good idea to remind your audience about the Academy's leadership role in ABET accreditation and programs related? And there's a reminder that we need some young professionals to participate in this. Oh, right. Excellent. Excellent, John. So yes, we have opportunities for certification. So we would need, the role would be for young professionals to be part of the accreditation process for your universities. So what you're doing in that role is you're helping to contribute value to your university in a very active way by serving as a evaluator during the ABET certification process. So most of us, when we go through our environmental engineering field, we're practicing, or we're given our degree by a university that has this accreditation. So I think that's all I see for the questions.
Yeah, I think that's it. So we can wrap up for today. If anyone has additional questions, please feel free to email Wendy directly. Wendy, if you can go back one slide and just pull up your email address really quick.
Oh, sure, of course I will.
And then my email is included there as well. If you have any questions about becoming a member, just email me directly. I can walk you through on how to get started. And that's about it. Again, thank you everyone for joining us today, and thank you so much, Wendy.
Thanks everybody. Really, really appreciated it.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.